Hot Springs Village Inside Out is a closer look at the greatness of Hot Springs Village, Arkansas, and the surrounding areas. People, places, experiences. Hot Springs Village is one of the most beautiful places on earth. Join me, Randy Cantrell, and my co-host, Dennis Simpson, as we engage in weekly conversations to explore Hot Springs Village Inside Out. Today's show is brought to you by Central Arkansas's favorite radio station, KVRE. Find them on the dial at 92.9 FM. Stream them live at kvre.com. RE/MAX of Hot Springs Village, the award-winning RE/MAX of Hot Springs Village, is the largest real estate office inside the village with over 30 full-time agents and support staff. Visit them to learn more about this beautiful place to solve your real estate needs. Call them today at 1-800-364-9007 or find them online at explorehsv.com. They are RE/MAX of Hot Springs Village at 1-800-364-9007 or online at explorehsv.com.
And we're back with another episode. Mr. Ike, what is the craziest thing somebody's asked you to insure or that you've seen in the insurance business?
Well, I don't know. I've seen a few crazy things, a few crazy claims, and over the times. I think the craziest thing I've been asked to insure, probably the most interesting thing is actually I've done it twice for two different customers, and art collections that are like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and so I get the opportunity to go out to their house, take pictures of everything, document what they have, so that we can tie it in with their the schedule that they get from their appraiser and everything. So I think that's probably with personal articles policies, you can insure collections, you can insure sports cards and coin collections. I've seen all sorts of things like that. That's one of the most interesting lines of insurance that we do here.
Absolutely fascinating. And here I was thinking about insuring my legs. I didn't know if that was going to work or not, Randy. What do you think? No?
You can do prosthetics. You can. That is insurable.
Prosthetics, huh?
Yeah. We've had hearing aids insured, and it actually had claims like where the dog ate the hearing aid.
Really?
And so, Yep.
Well, for those of you who don't
jewelry
know,
items.
For those of you who don't know, we're here with Mr. Ike Eisenhauer, it's not a stretch to say the king of insurance in Hot Springs Village. Ike is with State Farm, has a place just across from the Sonic, just outside the village. Ike, how many years have you been doing this, buddy?
I've been with State Farm for 32 years, and I've been out here in the village as an agent for 24.
24 years. You've seen a couple of things. Is that right?
That's right. I have seen a lot, from tornadoes to hailstorms to, huge periods of growth here in the village. I mean, I remember insuring. Once upon a time, I had to look at every house that we insured. I had to go take a front picture and a back picture of every house, which, we've got a six state zone, and I'm probably, I don't know how many years in a row, but I've been in the top 5 for writing homeowners policies out of 3,000, 4,000 agents or something like that. And so as you can imagine, I spent a lot of my time driving around the village looking at houses. And I remember going on insuring one of the first 2 houses on Medeiros, back when it was a dirt road, or Pizarro when that was a dirt road. So, I mean, first houses in Isabella, first houses in Granada. I remember I'm looking at the Sonic and all. I remember when that was all woods, so I've been here for a little while.
Well, and let me help our guest here. And Randy, I know you'll ask this if I don't. The Medeiros is the far east that goes up to Granada and Damonte and all that. And those would be, the late 1990s, early 2000s or something, or even before then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isabella came first and then Granada.
Randy, what have you always wanted to ask your insurance agent?
Yeah, I'm more interested in the financial services stuff personally, but you guys go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you what, Randy alluded to what I wanted to talk about. Number one, like you do insurance, you do home, you do auto, you do life, you do all those things.
Right.
And as we began to talk about this, and I've been working together on some thing for a while, there's so many questions. You say, well, I really need a life insurance. And Ike, I think a really great agent will ask you, really? Why? If you've got this many funds set aside, why do you need life insurance? And that's really where it kind of transitions right into financial planning. Is that fair?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Life insurance, the way we look at it and a lot of, well, I think even the financial planning guides there, like right. If you're a financial professional, you also protect first and then insure later, invest later, so you got to protect what you have first and then invest. And then finally on top of the pyramid, you worry about legacy things,
So let me get this straight. So you are a financial planner?
I'm a chartered financial consultant. I'm not a CFP, but yeah, I do give financial advice. We do have financial products here.
Huh. Randy, how does this tie in? I'm letting you go here.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the typical client, is there such a thing as a typical client, Ike, when it comes to whatever that transition might look like as far as from insurance to financial services stuff? I mean, it seems to me that, I could be wrong, but everybody could use some financial services stuff. Clearly people can get at some age. I'm there. Right. Kids are grown. Funeral stuff taken care of. I mean, life insurance is not that big a thing for me. And it's not because I'm financially independent. It's just, quite honestly, it's just not the priority anymore. I don't care. Right. I'm not trying to benefit somebody where I need to, when you have kids, I wanted a policy. My wife wanted a policy. Okay. But we haven't had kids in the house for 2 decades. Right. So, but now it's much more that protect what you've got. And, and if you can increase some stuff, because our number one fear is the same number one fear that everybody who's getting older has, is outliving your money. Right. So, you want to protect your resources and figure all that out. So I guess my question would be, so where do you even begin, or what are those conversations, the beginning of those conversations sound like? Because I would imagine there's a considerable number of people in our audience that may have never sought it, but may be tempted to. I've had a number of conversations, and I've had a few CFPs as clients along the way through the years. And I know from their experience, there can be trepidation on the part of people to even come and approach somebody like you, because some people, for instance, they can think, man, I should have done better. I should have done better in my life than I've done by now. I don't want Ike judging me, because I'm not all that successful, and that was something that I had never thought about. I mean, I hadn't thought about the trepidation on the part of a prospective customer who desperately could use the help, but whatever fears they've got. So I guess my question would be this, all that long-winded tripe to say this, what are the big hurdles for people even approaching you for that kind of help?
Probably the biggest hurdle that people have with us is not even realizing that we do the financial services part of the financial service world. And we do. People know that we do life insurance. I mean, we've been a top life insurance company in America for year after year, and so forth. But things like the banking products that we've had for so many years, and annuities, mutual funds, things along those lines, people are not necessarily as aware that we do those types of things too. Because it's not our bread and butter. It's not our primary thing that we do. Our primary thing is protecting people from the risks of everyday life, auto accidents and fires and things along those lines. And so anyway, they don't think of us in those terms. And,
does Does that same theme of protecting people carry over in the financial services part of your business?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I mean, people will protect their house with a homeowner's policy, but, you know, there are protections that you can put on your finances that can make you safe for the rest of your life too. And you know, I mean, we're looking at, I mean, I heard earlier today, I'm not sure where it is right now. Market was down 800 points today. You know, that scares people. And there's a lot of people that avoid market risk because of that. Well, there are ways that you can protect yourself against things like that, or, you know, even participate in the market with protections against things like that. And so, you know, we can handle just about anything here with the exception of individual stocks and bonds and options and things like that. You know, that a financial planner can help you with that, or you can do it with your own E-Trade account or TD Ameritrade account or something like that. But we can help with.
What would some of those protections be? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I'm interested. I mean, in this market, and you say it's down 800 today. Well, that's because Friday it was down, or yesterday, or the day before it was 600. And then, I mean, we're looking at,
Yeah.
you know, no, people don't know when we're recording this, but it's mid-June, and you know,
Sure.
who knows what tomorrow is? I mean, we're talking 20% off the high. And I'm sure there are some people looking and going, well, where's the floor? Where's the floor? And what kind of profit, what kind of products do you have could stop that, or could at least leverage against it?
Yeah, well, there's a variety of things, you know, from the most conservative to the most speculative type things. You know, most conservative things out there that a lot of people feel like they're stuck with are CDs and money market accounts. You know, they're safe. You're not going to lose your money. You're not going to make a lot of money. I mean, these, in fact, compared to inflation, you actually are losing money, but you're not losing money stock market wise, you know? And so a lot of people feel like they're confined and doomed to stick with those products forever, you know? But there are some ways just through basic fixed annuities or you know, things that aren't even related to the stock market, where you can get a little bit of income off of your safe money, and you know, live a little bit more comfortably with and allow the rest of it to grow in something that may be you may keep it in a CD or something like that, or you may put it into a you know, a product that gets you 2 or 3%. You know, we've got fixed annuities that pay up to 3.75 as of today. That's probably going up as interest rates. You know, we just had the Fed rate yesterday of 0.75 points. You know, and so anyway, those are probably going up too. But there are things like that. Like a good example. We had a customer a few years ago, and she had money that was in mutual funds, and she was afraid to spend it. She had her husband had passed away, daughter with special needs, and she was really concerned about leaving enough for the daughter in a special needs trust. But she could use another $300 a month in income because it was really stressful on her. And we just took some of that, we put it into a straight immediate annuity, and gave her $300 more a month in income. It didn't take a fortune to do that. She lived comfortably for the rest of her life and left her daughter with more money after she passed away than when we did the annuity. And so anyway, it's kind of funny, you know, you take $100,000, you put that into a CD, and what you get, maybe $1,000 a year or something like that. And if you're 75 years old, let's say, you take $100,000, you put that into a CD, and you're going to get, you know, let's say $8,000 a year in income or something like that. So why wouldn't you do that? You know, well, I mean, there are reasons not to put all your money into an immediate annuity like that. But let's say you do take $2,000 a month out of there. Well, that still leaves 3/4 of your money set aside to grow, and so you take 25,000 out, you turn that into a $2,000 a year income, get a couple $100 extra a month that might help you at a time like this with rampant inflation. So anyway, just and it's very and the rest of it you never have to worry about it, because you still have it in your CDs, and it's not going to lose money. So anyway, they're just little things that we can do. We can help. So I mean, that's just on the basic part. Just a small financial services trick that you can do to help you get through these times where, especially if you're like Social Security only and you've got a small nest egg, $60,000, let's say, you still might be able to get a little bit more income and live a little bit more comfortably.
But having somebody local like you and somebody that's got 3 decades plus experience,
Mm-hmm.
and you're clearly in the risk mitigation business largely,
Right.
which
Mm-hmm.
includes not just your property and stuff, but your money and
Mm-hmm.
and whatever fiscal help that you can provide somebody, and being there local. I'm curious, with the growth inside the village, especially over the last 18 months or so, that influx of people who've moved into the village from out of state and I don't know, and brought their business to you, or
Mm-hmm.
or maybe more appropriately, those who haven't, which
Mm-hmm.
seems to me colossally foolish, but who am I? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if you're in the community and you're there and you've got this experience, I don't know, I'm curious the last 18 months, what that's looked like for you guys as far as your experience with all the influx of people coming into the village.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely gotten a bunch in, and it's been a boom for all of us who work in anything insurance or financial services related. And but you also see, because of the turbulent times we have right now, that's a time where a lot of people feel very, very vulnerable. And really, the riskiest times in a person's life financially are in the first few years before retirement, maybe 5 years before and 5 years after. And there's a concept called sequence of returns. So, and the way it works is, let's say you saved for 40 years, and you have great years, you have terrible years. You go through 2008, 2009, you go through boom years, you have a market like we've had in the last year. You have all those ups and downs. Well, you can take all those results year by year, scramble them all up, and do the math on it. And from the beginning of time when you started saving till right now, the final result is going to be exactly the same. So it doesn't matter growing when it happens. When it really starts mattering is when you start taking it out. Because if you take out when the market crashes right after you retire, then that's when you're really vulnerable, and that's where the long-term projections show your finances going down and down. I mean, if you start taking your money out in a boom market where you take it out and your money's still going up, then your chances of succeeding are a whole lot better. And there are strategies that you can use to get around that. Using annuity products and things like that. So anyway, and let me say this: a lot of people. One of the most common things I hear are, I've been told annuities are a bad thing. Nobody says good things about annuities. And annuities can be a variety of things. There's so many different types of annuities out there. Your Social Security check is an annuity, because the definition of an annuity is a series of payments. And so a fixed annuity, a fixed immediate annuity, is the most simple annuity product. You give the insurance company, let's say $100,000, okay? And the insurance company is going to do the calculation. They're going to say, you're going to live this long. We can pay you this much a month, and we'll pay it for as long as you live. If you live to 120, we're still going to be paying you that annuity. And then there's variations that you could put in there as to how much you leave for your children or your heirs and so forth. But there are things that can vary that. So that's the most simple, but it's not tied to the market at all. a fixed annuity is just it's not that much different than a CD. It just has different access rules as to when you can get the money. You can access 10% of it at any given time, whereas you're more tied in with the CD. But there are higher surrender charges on that if you take more than 10% out, which you don't have with the CD. And so anyway, there's pluses and minuses to all those things. But then the annuity can be all the way up to the ones that people are afraid of, which are the variable annuities and the ones that have all the bells and whistles and fees and all these other types of things, which can be fantastic for a person, or it could be a mistake for a person. And it just all depends on the situation. So, I mean, there is no one size fits all type things, but there are definitely strategies that you can use. If you just draw a little bit of income out, to protect your the money that you know that you have to spend, and that can make your life better, and leave the rest in something where you can grow, that you don't have to draw from it. It extends the time horizon that you have to access the money, because you don't need it for the next 5-10 years, whatever, and that allows that to grow and overcome down markets and other things like that. So anyway, there are a lot of different.
Which is why you need a guide. Somebody that does this stuff more than the average bear, like me and
yeah, exactly. And you plug it into the software and show them. You show them the graph where it shows you. You get a lot of green lines going up where your money keeps growing and growing, and you get a 95% success ratio. And then if you look at it and there's a lot of red lines and it's crashing and burning and everything, it's like then we can adjust from that and find you something that's going to give you all those green lines and protect you in the long run.
So I'm a new prospective customer and I come in. What is that process going to look like? What's the experience going to feel like for me?
On the financial services side, we'll talk about, well, first of all, we'll talk about protection. What do you have to protect? Is there a life insurance need? Is there a banking product need? Is there a fixed annuity need? Is there a legacy need? I mean, you may want to leave money for the next generation or something like that. Maybe that's your thing. So we're going to ask a ton of questions about what you have, what your goals are, what your spending is, and what you anticipate your spending being. And so it's a lot of fact finding that goes into the process from the very beginning. And then we start ruling out products that may not fit. Like in your case, you just mentioned not really interested in life insurance, don't have to replace income. My income's fine. It's like, well, that's good. Then we can rule that product out. We have other situations where life insurance is really important to them. You get a spouse or you get a situation where a spouse passes away and the other spouse is going to be left with a big loss of income because you lose a pension or something like that. Well, then all of a sudden you get a bigger problem. So maybe life insurance is the solution to that, or a first to die policy, or a second to die policy. So a first to die policy is basically a policy where you have two people in the couple, both insured by the same policy, and it pays out the benefit when the first one dies. Then you've got a survivorship policy or a second to die, where it doesn't pay when the first one dies, it pays when the second one dies. And that's used to leave money to the next generation in a very tax advantaged way. We paid, it was last year, we paid a couple of death claims. One was $2 million on a second to die policy. The other was a situation where a guy had it wasn't necessarily estate tax purposes. The guy just had $100,000. What are you going to do with this? Nothing. I don't need the income. I don't need any more income. I don't need the money. I'm okay if I have to go into a nursing home or something like that. I just want to leave it to my kids. It's like, okay, well, let's take that $100,000 and turn it into $250,000 with a second to die policy. Anyway, wife passed away, nothing happened. Husband passed away, kids got a check for $250,000 out of $100,000 in 12 years or something like that. It's like, you can't do that. You can't do that through any other safe
And
guaranteed investment.
What are the tax implications of? I'm sorry, but what are the tax implications of that? I mean, that insurance money, did they have to pay tax on?
That's the beauty of it. Life insurance is the most tax favored instrument out there by far. You know, there was a case a few years ago. I mean, it grows tax deferred, and then it pays out tax deferred. I mean, it's just I'm sorry, pays out tax free. So there is a case a few years ago. Some .com millionaire in California. They, you know, nobody knows who it is, but probably like an Elon Musk type or a Bill Gates type or somebody like that. You know, they bought a 200. It wouldn't say A because it was multiple policies, but it was they bought $240 million in life insurance. Okay, it's not because they needed a $240 million funeral. They did it because it's a smart thing to do with your money, and so if you've got money that you're never going to spend in your lifetime, is the most tax advantage way to pass it on to the next generation. And so I think it was like 10 different insurance companies because nobody's willing to take on the risk all by themselves. And so anyway, and they did it. It was just a $250 million in life insurance. So
some real estate agent was very happy he got that commission, or 20 real estate agents, or 10 real estate
or insurance, life insurance agents. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Somebody made a fortune on that. That's for sure.
Well, just a general question. And I know this doesn't, basically the answer is we need to come see you and ask questions. Two things I need to share real quick. I had got a gentleman living here in the village. He's a watcher and listener of the show. And he was telling me they're remodeling their house. And he was telling me that probably 6 to 9 months ago, he was like, you know, I really don't need the income. You know, I've really got all the money I need, frankly. Whoever says that, huh? I'm like, well, really? He said, you know, I really just don't need any more income. I'll help you with this thing we were working on, but I really just don't need any more income. Okay, cool. Congrats. Yeah. I talked to him in the last month and he said, man, every time the market goes down, I'm thinking, man, there's another few months I've got to keep working. And I'm like, ouch, that's how quickly things change. Let me paint a scenario that I see very quickly. Somebody moved to the village 10 or 15 years ago. They've got their house paid off. They've got a stipend of some sort. They've got some kind of residual income coming in. They're relatively, in this market, they're relatively house rich and cash income poor. What would be your solution to that? Or is there a great solution that State Farm could offer?
I'm probably going to, it's something like that. Okay. In our business, it's at least, I don't know. I know there are some agents out there that do that, but we've got to put everything through suitability when we do it. Even if it's a simple $25,000 fixed annuity, it's got to go through our suitability people. And one of the questions they ask is this money coming from equity in a home? And so they are very, I don't know, I would be very hesitant to take equity out of a home and put it into an instrument like that. Now, I've got that being said, I mean, I've read books where you can take money out of your home equity, especially at a time like this where your home equity is really big, and put it into life insurance products or other products like that. And I've seen the calculations and I've seen it work and everything like that. But personally, I wouldn't do it. Even if I did it, I couldn't get it through suitability. So anyway, that's kind of a tricky question.
Okay. And I didn't mean to throw you a curveball. I can see that. Some bridges you just
don't want to cross.
So. Yeah, no, I got it. And I didn't know if that was a refinance, reverse loan type thing, or I don't know. I'm just trying to imagine a solution for that, because I can imagine there are several villagers that may be in that position.
Yeah. And I know people who've done reverse mortgages. We don't do reverse mortgages, but I know there are some out there that do them. And one of those things. Some people stay away from reverse mortgages. Well, it's just like any other financial instrument. It's right for some people. It's wrong for some people. If you got if your kids don't care about inheriting anything, and they're mostly concerned with mom living comfortably in her last few years or whatever, and she's going to tap into the home equity that she has, whatever, then fine. Do the reverse mortgage. Mom lives happily. The kids, they may not inherit anything, or maybe they pay off the reverse mortgage and keep the house or something like that. But anyway, it's a very individual situation. I mean, there's no one size fits all for anybody. It just, I mean, there's some cases I've seen where it's just like a no brainer. Why are you keeping your money in CDs and money market accounts when we could do so much better with other things? And they just refuse to do it. It's just not for everybody, but there are other situations like that where I've seen people put something into something that just doesn't really fit in them. And to be honest, I've had a couple situations where you have the conversation with the customer, and I mean, you diagnose the problem, they're happy with the solution, and everything makes sense. And then a couple years later, hey, I need to get money out of this annuity. It's like, that wasn't your plan. And next thing you know, they're spending all their life savings and they're not even 65 years old, Ouch. And so anyway, yeah, it's like, man, if we had stuck with the plan, you'd be in great shape. But they just didn't follow the guidance, and they probably more likely, I guess a better way to describe it is they underestimated what their spending was going to be in the next few years and committed themselves to something that really didn't fit what turned out to be. So anyway,
24 years inside in the village, operating 30 some odd, with State Farm. Mm-hmm. I want to shift gears to you, sure. Your business philosophy, just the way that you approach doing business. And then if you don't mind, I'd like to hear, kind of your vision of the future for you, for your business, and kind of what you see in and around Hot Springs Village.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're very blessed. First of all, I'm very blessed to represent State Farm Insurance, which last week, what is today? Thursday. So yeah, it was a week ago Tuesday, we celebrated our 100th anniversary in business. And so, I mean, we've been number one in auto insurance since 1942. We've been number one in nationwide in homeowners insurance since 1964. We're the number one business insurer out there now, number 2 or so life insurance company in America, I think it is. We've been number one. It just kind of goes back and forth in terms of policies and so forth. And so anyway, so I'm very blessed to represent a great company, very proud of the company that we have. My business model here is to always keep the foot on the accelerator, always try to grow the business. I've got people that work for me that I want to keep them happy and happily employed and making a lot of money with me for as long as I can possibly make it happen. I turn 60 years old next year, and I don't have any plans on retiring. Just blew up my office from 6 people to 10 people. I've got a bunch of trainees in here now, and the philosophy that we have is, first of all, to achieve some of the biggest things that the company that you can achieve in our company, and second of all, I want a lot of people doing the heavy lifting, because we've been demanding an awful lot of our employees for the last few years. So yeah, I mean, we just want to be the best out here. We want to take care of our customers. We want to have, we want to be the one-stop shop for villagers when they're looking for insurance and financial services. And for that, it takes people, and it takes training, and it takes as good as we've been, we can be so much better.
Safe to say that you've not seen anything like the last 18 months in the village before?
I was not here like in the 80s when we were really booming, and the early years where people were just like, I mean, everywhere you went, there were houses being built and everything. For a few years, it seemed kind of stagnant. I remember we had a hot real estate market back in 2006, 2007 or so, but that the financial crisis put an end to that. And the last 18 months, it's just really blown up, and it's been very exciting to watch it happen here. And it's a great place. There's a million great reasons to move here and live here. I mean, we always, I remember we were talking a few years ago when the lottery was hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever. And we just were saying, where would you move if you won the lottery? And I was like, I could stay right here. I mean, I could visit any place I want to go to, but I like coming home to here. This is a fantastic place.
Well, Ike, I want to bring up something that you shared with me earlier. And Randy, I don't think you know this one, but I don't know why, but in my mind, you're talking about blowing this place up and really getting the best of it. And the song Burning Down the House came to my mind. and Randy, you're going to like this. Ike, why don't you tell me about burning down the house? Why don't you tell me about building your new office?
When I built this?
Yes.
So, man, I can't believe you remember the story.
So, it was a great story. I couldn't miss it. This is right across from where the Sonic is, right?
Yeah, right across from Sonic, where I'm sitting right now. We had an office right next door. It's West End Hair Company right now, and so anyway, and this was actually not. I take it that wasn't even built yet. So I bought this whole acre lot, and this was an old. Used to be the Stakeout, and then when I moved here, it was the Bangkok restaurant. It's a Thai restaurant. It was a log building, and then when that closed down, it was somebody bought the land, and basically they were training dogs in there. So you walk in the place and it smelled like urine and everything, and it was just this crappy old building, and so anyway, and I needed the building out of the way. And so one of my employees, her husband was chief of the Jessieville Volunteer Fire Department. And I was saying, man, that's going to be, I mean, that's a log building. That's a lot of expense in getting that building out of the way. And so anyway, they said, well, you think the fire department would burn it down? And so she asked, and he said, well, we can do it as a training exercise, except we can't light the match. So you've got to light the match. And so anyway, he's like, hey, I'm game. And so, I mean, how many chances in your life do you get to burn down a building?
Your own building.
My own building legally. And so anyway, we came in, and it didn't take any accelerants because it was an old kitchen that we started the fire in. It was just all greasy. And so anyway, we put some boxes in there and lit the boxes and left, and cranked out Talking Heads Burning Down the House on the boombox, and watched the place burn down for a few hours. And it was pretty cool. So I think they kept it going to like 2 a.m. and then finally they put the fire out, and there were still some logs, but it was a lot of ashes. A lot easier to excavate the property. So
only a fire department knows how to really burn down the house correctly, I believe.
Oh yeah, I have an ex-brother-in-law who he was a fire chief in Massachusetts, and I remember my father giving him a hard time once because they had a training exercise there and it got out of hand, and so he's like, "What's going on? This Massachusetts." My father had the Boston accent that I used to have once upon a time. It's like, what's going on there? The fire department is burning down their own fire academy. So anyway, they literally did burn down part of the fire academy.
That's funny. Did you take pictures of this event? Your event?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
We did. We were throwing rocks at the windows and trying to get some air in there. And my oldest daughter was she's just a little girl back then. She was terrified. She was terrified. But the other one was always a little bit more adventurous. She thought it was really cool.
We called her Pyro.
Pyro, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good story. Yeah, well, how would you forget a story like that?
Oh, when he told that, I was like, man, you get to burn down your own business. Who wouldn't buy that property, man? Yeah. People
like, hey, was it insured? It's like, excellent. Like, why would I insure a building that that thing would be better off gone? Like, if somebody came in a truck and stole the building overnight, I'd be thanking them. So
wrote him a check. Here you go. Who do I make this out to?
I didn't have a dime of insurance on it.
So apparently dog urine is an accelerant. It's what I hear tell, right?
Well, no, it was in the kitchen. It was in the kitchen. So anyway, which, by the way, turns out there were a bunch of wasps in there too. So we did not spend a lot of time. And once the smoke came up, like the wasps started swarming around. So we ran out of there as fast as we could, closed the door and got away. Let the wasp burn up in the fire.
Small town entertainment on a Friday night, Randy. I'm sorry.
Yes, it was. It was Friday night.
Yeah,
it was Friday night.
That's funny.
Well, is it time for the lightning round, Randy?
It can be.
I think we need to ask this man some serious questions, some probing questions between tacos and pizza.
Yeah, real probing. Hiking, hunting, fishing, or golfing?
Golfing.
Hamburger tacos, or pizza?
You know what? Pizza, but it would be like the pizza that I grew up with back in Massachusetts. And the best pizza is up there is not Italian, it's Greek.
Okay, describe this for us.
Well, it's pizza just like anything else. Maybe a little bit more cheese. But anyway, it just seemed like all the best pizza places were owned by Greeks and not Italians.
Was there like an egg in the middle or something, or what?
No. I mean, it's just like regular pizza. I mean, it's just like Italian pizza, but for some reason, it's just in central Massachusetts where I grew up, the best pizza places seem to always be Greek. And
describe the crust. What kind of crust?
Like I say, just like any other pizza.
Okay.
Yeah. It's more like, being from the Northeast, it's closer to New York style than anything else.
It sounds like the cheese made the difference, is what I'm hearing you say.
Cheese, yeah, it's maybe a little cheesier than a typical New York pizza, but
Greek.
Maybe a little bit thicker crust than you'd find in a New York pizza. But
okay, we'll give away. We're not giving away the time, but the timeline people will be. So are you? I'm not a fan of the NBA, but I do watch it when it gets to the finals. So you how you feeling? How you feeling about your hometown team here?
Okay, well, as of right now, when we're recording this, it's Game 6 tonight, and it's either the last game of the season or the Celtics have an epic comeback in the Garden and take it back to Golden State.
And how you feeling?
How am I feeling? I have not really enjoyed the last two games that much, but to be honest, the last game, well, I mean, they were in it for the first three quarters of Game 4. Last game, they had a terrible start and came back and took the lead in the third and then just like rolled over. And so anyway, how am I feeling? I
feeling like Game 7's coming?
I don't. I would not rule out the possibility of Game 7. Can we sustain it for two games, one home, one on the road? I don't know, but I look. Being a New England fan, I've seen a lot of things. I saw my Red Sox come back from 3-0 against the Yankees and break the curse in 2004. I saw the Patriots come back from 28-3 in the third quarter and win the Super Bowl a few years against the Falcons. So I never say never. Used to be being a New England fan was it was kind of other than the Celtics back in the 60s and 70s and 80s. I mean, everything else was just disappointment after disappointment. And now it's like, hey, okay, we're down a little bit, but we're not out.
Yeah, well, I'm pulling for your bunch, and I'm not a New Englander as my.
It's a very likable team. They're a bunch of good guys. I like watching them.
Yeah. All right, beaches or woods?
Geez, that's a close toss up, but you know what? I guess I do like going to the beach. I do like, actually, I do like going to resorts on the beach, but I'm more of a pool than a beach guy.
More of a resort guy, maybe.
I'm a resort guy. Yeah, it's like let's go to let's look at the ocean, but not get sand all over ourselves.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, texting or talking?
Talking.
Favorite day of the week?
Favorite day of the week is probably Feel Good Friday. We do Feel Good Friday over here, and so it's always a lighter atmosphere around the office, and then we usually have something fun going on Friday.
All right, so give us an example of what you might do on a Feel Good Friday.
So we go around the table, and everybody talks about what makes you feel good, and somebody might be, hey, I'm going to the lake this weekend, or I'm going on a trip next week, or my daughter did something, whatever. I had an employee last week. Hey, my fiance and I were looking for a house. And so we go around and we share that with everybody. It's we do a lot of morning meetings where you do training or you do something serious, and Feel Good Friday is it's just a chance to relax and enjoy with each other. One of the best things about having your own business, you get to pick the people you work with. And, and I love the people that I work with, and especially, since we've blown up our team to 10 employees, we got 6 trainees right now. And I could go through the list and tell you why I love every one of them. It's just a great atmosphere we have here.
Well, let me interject a story. I know this is your question, but I want to tell you real quick. I was talking to Joy, your right-hand lady, who is the queen bee. Oh my God, she handles everything. Extremely awesome. Capable. Never, just unflappable. She was always on it. And Randy, she was telling me that she had been wanting to see her daughter's post in the yearbook. This is last year, of course. And I said, well, why? And she said she wrote something in the yearbook and she wouldn't tell me what it was. And so I found out a couple of days later. I said, what was it? And she said, her daughter's quote. Now, this is what you want to be known in infinity for, right? Life's too short to date ugly cowboys. So there's a truth. Life is too short to date ugly cowboys. I just want to let you know that, Randy. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that. Good to know. All right, favorite city in the U.S. besides the one you live in?
Besides Boston, I won't count Boston.
Okay,
Boston because I grew up there. But favorite other city, probably New Orleans. Fun city. And I just love the South Louisiana culture. I married a Cajun girl. So, I got to say New Orleans.
And you ate her food. So that was where it all went downhill, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. They told us at Fort Polk when I was stationed there in the Army, so don't let the Cajun women cook you gumbo. And I found out why, and ended up hooked and stayed in Louisiana for 12 years until I came up here. So anyway,
that's all right. There's a bunch of Louisianans in the village, so it's good.
Absolutely, yeah. Best food in America.
We all know where to go when we want a crawfish brawl. So, all right. Yes, current favorite band or musician? And by current, I mean anybody you're listening to right now. I don't mean current as far as popular culture or anything goes.
Okay.
I mean current for you. Like who are you listening to right now? Anybody?
Like right now? I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of old school.
That's all right.
I grew up on classic rock and everything. My band was the Rolling Stones. Took my daughter to see him last fall and everything. So I mean, I was always a huge Stones fan. Stones, Beatles. I love Bob Dylan, and you know what? If I like Bob Dylan's stuff from the last 25 years as much as I like his stuff from the 60s. And it just,
I do too.
Yeah, I mean, he's just, I mean, I just absolutely love the guy. I mean, the guy is just iconic. He's just, I don't know, won the Nobel Prize for Literature. And if you've ever read his autobiography, Chronicles, you see, I mean, the guy's just as good a writer. He's a good radio show that he had for years on Sirius XM, Bob Dylan's Theme Time Radio Hour. Great radio host. I mean, the guy can do everything, and he's just a cool guy, and he's a good guy.
Yeah, he can do everything but enunciate.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, I understand the people who say he can't sing. And I guess my most famous recent band, like within the last 20 years, old 97s.
Oh
old
man,
97s.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Picking a
Yeah,
bunch of
love the
guys
old
from
97s.
Dallas, Fort Worth over here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Love
All
the
right,
old
you've got an
97s.
hour to do nothing. What are you going to do?
Nothing.
Well, good answer.
I don't know. I mean, if I get an hour to do nothing, it just depends. You know, I probably lately I've been working on my golf game a little bit, and or I'll just hang out. We got an outdoor kitchen. I love hanging out in the outdoor kitchen. We're on Lake Cortez. Been doing a lot of time outside, just working in the yard. And
all right, what are you cooking in the outdoor
dock.
kitchen? I got to ask.
A lot of barbecue and burgers and so forth. I've got my office team coming over this weekend for a party, celebratory party, and we're cooking Filipino pork, which is delicious, absolutely delicious.
That's awesome. I don't think I've ever had that.
If I can make a management note real quick. Just to interject real quick, I'm sorry, I apologize. I don't think enough people actually celebrate their victories. I really don't. I think that's a problem in business. Everybody goes, okay, we hit that goal, great, now the next one. Let's go celebrate. Let's enjoy it.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
All right, favorite holiday. Favorite
holiday. Thanksgiving.
First job. Thanksgiving. Your very first job.
Well, I had a paper route when I was a little boy. And then I had one of my customers, he had kennels at his house and everything, and he needed help delivering dog food. So I would drive around into Boston, all over, just delivering dog food to people. And with him, he'd smoke his Camel cigarettes, and I'd have the window open, just gagging. And anyway, just old guy. We did that. I mean, he was 80 something years old. We did that for a couple of years. And then,
I don't think I've ever met anybody who delivered dog food till now.
Delivered dog food, yeah, to a guy I have my paper route. So I was like, that was my side hustle for my paper route gig.
Well, you need a side hustle. That's good. Do you play a musical instrument?
No, but I've got the heart of a musician, but I don't have the talent of a musician. I can't even sing very well.
Yeah, I feel you. Okay, describe your favorite.
My daughter's made up for it though.
Okay, but how so?
They're both musicians and singers, and they're both fantastic.
And they play what? What instrument do they play?
Caroline plays guitar and piano, and Camille guitar, piano, bass, drums. She's in Nashville right now. She went there because she wanted to get in the music industry, and graduated in the middle of a pandemic, which was a little bit challenging. But anyway, she's multi-talented.
And how's she liking? What's her Nashville experience? I got to ask.
Oh, she's loving it there. She's loving it.
Yes, where everybody's talented and everybody can play.
Exactly. Yeah. And she made a lot of friends in college because there's so many others like that. A lot of friends in college who are super talented too. So anyway.
Yeah. One day I'll have to tell you about having a young man named Mitch Rossell on another podcast that I had. And Mitch Rossell was struggling. He was busking, and he was playing at Tootsie's in Nashville. And he writes a song, and he connects with a guy named Garth Brooks.
Oh yeah.
I saw him last week.
And a year or two ago, and I don't know, did Mitch open for him?
No.
And Mitch is on tour with him opening. So, and shame on me, I can't remember. 2 years ago, Garth's #1 song written, Mitch Rossell. Really? So
really,
it can happen. That's the point of the story. It can happen.
Everybody tells the story about being at the Bluebird Cafe or whatever, which we love the place. I mean, we love Broadway, the whole 9 yards. Not everybody gets to play on the stage at the Bluebird. And like Randy says, there are thousands of talented people, more talented than you are typically.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
my
it's
daughter
like
played there once.
Any other creative thing though, it's brutal.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Describe your favorite meal.
Favorite meal is crawfish etouffee. Being married to a Cajun and everything, I just love Cajun food. But yeah, crawfish etouffee is I guess, I've kind of gone back and forth over the years, and I've kind of settled on that. That would be the last one I ever want to eat is crawfish etouffee.
Wise choice.
What's your address on Cortez again?
Yeah, it's a wise choice. All right, first concert that you ever went to?
Foghat and the Outlaws. It was election night 1980. It was when Reagan got elected, and it's kind of funny. A few months ago for St. Patrick's Day, Foghat played downtown Hot Springs, and I was out there early when they were rehearsing. It's like, I saw you guys election night 1980. I think only the drummers from the original band,
Yeah.
But anyway, but that was a long time ago.
Funniest movie?
Funniest movie? Oh my goodness. The funniest movie I think is I would say Blazing Saddles.
I was gonna say.
Yeah,
I just love Blazing Saddles. I love Mel Brooks.
I do too.
It's kind of a shame because it is such a it's so politically incorrect, but it was done as a spoof against racism and things like that. But man, if you ever see Blazing Saddles on like regular TV and where they censor out all the jokes and everything, like, man, it's like a documentary of the Old West because all the funny parts are gone.
Well, and Richard Pryor helped write it, so there is that.
Yes.
Favorite sports
absolutely.
team? You got a bunch to choose from up in Boston.
Well, I've always said my favorite team is the Red Sox. New England is just such a Red Sox baseball area, but of course those Patriots teams all those years made it a little different. My favorite sport is football, and I tell you, for years I never missed a Patriots game if it was on, even if I had to listen to it on the radio.
Well, they're still good. They still got it going on, and that new quarterback, I think he's the real deal. Okay, cake or pie?
Oh my goodness, I would say, let's say pie. I'll say pie.
What kind?
Apple, blueberry, cherry, I guess.
Whatever.
It's fruity. Yeah,
fruity. How many hours of sleep do you get every night?
I try for 8. I never achieve it. But I do usually go to bed at like 10 o'clock or so, wake up at 6:15. So anyway, and I'm usually up for a while at some point during the night.
Yeah, I got it. What's your favorite article of clothing?
Favorite article of clothing? Man, shorts, because if I'm wearing shorts, it's I'm usually having fun. Yeah. Usually have more fun than being at the office.
All right, here's the last one. Favorite quote.
Okay. Favorite quote. Oh my goodness. I'm having a mental block because I know if I thought hard enough, I could think of a bunch. Oh geez. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank, Randy. You stumped me.
No, that's all right. That's all right. It's all right to end on a stump.
Well, as we're right here at Father's Day, I want to give credit to my dad. One of my favorite quotes that I heard my dad say all the time, and maybe this will jog your memory, Ike. My dad said, "It is always better to be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt." Now, given the amount of time that I talk, you would think that I would have listened to that advice better, wouldn't you think, Randy?
No comment.
No comment. Let's hear a quote from your dad. What would your dad say? I know he's coming up, 90? What?
Lord willing, in September, my dad turns 99.
Wow.
My mom turned 90 last month.
Mm-hmm.
My dad's a guy of very few words. So if I had to quote anything my dad said, it'd be, yeah, boy, because that's about the only phrase, my dad just, that yeah, boy is kind of still the, you doing okay over there, Jeff? Yeah, boy. He's just your typical good old Oklahoma guy, doesn't have a whole lot to say. So,
yeah, my dad was he was a jokester, and he would always be telling jokes, and it'd be like if somebody somebody called my house, whatever, he'd always be, "That's my wife. I'm not here." And so anyway, even if my mom was standing right next to him, it just things like that. He and his brother, my Uncle Jimmy, they always had these corny jokes that they would go back and forth. Just stupid jokes like, "Hey, that song, Tony's Push Cart? I don't know. How does it go?" It's like, "It doesn't go. You have to push it." It's just stupid stuff like that. Anyway.
I like it. That's better than a favorite quote, Ike.
I like that a lot.
That's worth the price of admission right there. Well, I appreciate you being on. I'm going to let you and Dennis have the last word.
Yeah, I'm just going to say for Hot Springs Village Inside Out, I'm Randy. He's Ike. And Ike, it's been a pleasure. I actually think we haven't turned over every stone with you yet. We have some more things to talk about in insurance. We were just trying to reach some financial information today, and I think you gave us some great leads. The bottom line is, I think it's a good idea to call the office and ask, isn't it?
Yeah, very good idea. Very good idea. Just give me a call here, 984-4100, and we'll talk to you about whatever you'd like to talk about.
501-984-4100. And I'm going to have to cover that area code in there because I got to tell you, people from all over the world listen and call. And
that's right.
I hope you would honestly, I'll go ahead and step my testimonial. I had a gentleman from Farmers in Northwest Arkansas that I met online who insured all of our Airbnbs, was a great guy. Jeffrey Daniels, love him, and was able to talk with Ike, and Ike saved us hundreds of dollars in every direction and put $1 million umbrella policy on top of everything. Ouch. About 10 days before our gentleman drowned on the lake.
Oh,
so
wow.
every time you think that's not going to happen here. And I must have told myself that every night when I went to bed. And then my nightmare came to fruition. And at that same time, not 10 days before, I had called you and worked with Joy and not only got a great deal, but got much, much, much more protection than I ever would have dreamt.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember doing that. I remember getting the call from you.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Shocking. Well, for Hot Springs Village Inside Out, I'm Dennis Simpson. He's Randy Cantrell, and he's Ike. Call Ike, 501-984-4100 for any of your questions like that. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Hot Springs Village Inside Out, a podcast where Hot Springs Village, Arkansas is the star. Please subscribe to the podcast. You can do that by visiting our website, hsvinsideout.com, and tell a friend.